Welcome to Between the Shelves, the premier Save-A Library podcast. I am your host, Alex, and this week I'm joined by Tori. Welcome, Tori.
Hello.
Tori, what are we talking about this episode?
Today we're talking about something that I never talk about on the podcast, which is games.
Games?
Specifically.
We can't get you on a video game episode, but...
You could call this a video game episode, I think.
I do count it as a video game episode, but what specifically are we talking about?
Specifically, mobile games.
Mobile games.
AKA the only kind of game I play.
Hey, that's okay. So let's just dive right into it. I didn't get any stats or anything. I meant to get stats for this episode.
Who needs stats? This is all about recommendations.
All right,
This is all about retrospectives. Do we have to explain what a mobile game is?
A game for a smartphone. Is that enough?
I think that works.
Okay.
Or a tablet.
Or a tablet. If your
a mobile
tablet's
device.
Mobile. Yeah. I think that says it all. Mm-hmm. All right, let's get into it. Do you have... How many recommendations do you have? Let's start with that. Because I have 4.
Oh.
Is that too much or too few?
I don't know. I thought I went on like a trip down memory lane of all of the mobile games I ever played. So I have sort of like a retrospective look at all of them that I've liked.
I have 4.5. Does that help?
I'm interested in the 0.5. Sure. Why don't you start then?
Okay, I'll start.
Let's see how you address it. Yes, go.
All right, so the first game I want to talk about is a game called Downwell. One word, Downwell. It came out in 2015. It's by a single developer, Ojiro Fumoto. It is a 2D action platformer game, but instead of going left to right like you do in every other platforming game, you go top to bottom. So it fits the vertical orientation of your cell phone.
Are you falling?
You are. You're falling down a well, hence Downwell. Now, in this platforming game, there are little like ledges and things you can catch yourself on and stop and kind of collect yourself, but mostly you're just jumping from platform to platform, going down a well, and you have a gun that shoots straight down. So if you want to hit anything, you have to position yourself above it. So it's a little bit of like a kind of like a pipe game mixed with an action game, mixed with a platformer. It's a little bit nothing like Tetris.
Well, then you're falling.
Well, I guess you're falling.
And trying to move to a spot as you fall.
It's all done in like an 8-bit aesthetic, like an NES game.
Like Tetris.
Yeah. Okay. Oh,
so
you do know games. So it's very, very cool black and white, like classic style. But as you play the game, you get like rewards, gems, or I forget exactly what you get. But after every run, you start to earn some of these gems or whatever, and you can spend them to get new palettes, they're called. So you can give your like new color palettes for the game. So instead of it being black and white, it can be like watermelon themed or something.
The whole will be rethemed
everything. Yeah, everything's rethemed around that, which is cool. It helps mix it up a little bit. And they have like Game Boy themes, all kinds of different visualizers, I guess you would call them, or something like that. The filters, that's a better word for it, that you can put over the screen. So it's like a roguelike game, if you're familiar with that genre. So it's like very short runs, repetitive runs. When you die, that's it. You start back at 0 again. Nothing carries over to your next run. So it's basically just about seeing how far you can get.
And there's no like framework story around it, or is there a...
There's no story at all. It's a very, very clean, simple aesthetic. As you're working your way down the tunnel, they have checkpoints every, I don't know, I'll say like 1,000 feet or so. That's like the end of a level. And in between each level, you can choose a new power-up that you carry over to the next level. And like halfway through each level, there's like a ledge that has like a little shop where you can spend some coins or something that you pick up along the way to get upgrades and things. So that's kind of like the nature of it. And a whole run could last anywhere from a few seconds to a few minutes. So
as long as you're able to keep yourself...
As long as you keep yourself alive. So it's... it's a very repetitive game. It's a nice game that you can kind of pick up and put down at any time. So it's kind of addicting in that way. I got time for a run. Like, let me see how far I get. The soundtrack's great too, like that 8-bit synth kind of music. Just a really, really cool looking game. Now, there is one caveat I need to mention.
It costs money.
It does cost money. It's $2.99, but it often goes on sale. But the real caveat is I'm not sure if this game is still being supported. Mm-hmm. So when I played this game when it came out, and for a few years after, here and there, but I re-downloaded it and tried to play it again to refresh my memory for this episode, and the game was running very fast, like almost seemed like it was going at 2 times speed, which made the game almost impossible to play, made it extremely difficult. So I looked into this online, and it seems like it's not supported for newer hardware. It seems like it's like this game speed is tied with the processing power of your phone. So the faster the phone gets, the faster the game runs. So I haven't noticed this. It's hard to kind of tell if it's been fixed or not. For my specific phone, it doesn't seem like it has, but maybe if you're on an iPhone or a different kind of Android phone, maybe it's running better. Hopefully it is. So that's my little caveat with this one. Maybe check the reviews first before you give it a go. But if it is running for you, I highly recommend it. It's a great game.
I'd say that's actually a really big negative factor of mobile games, period, is if people don't want to keep them up anymore, they'll just get deleted from app stores or not supported anymore. So if you accidentally delete it from your phone, you can't get it back, which is very frustrating if you have a game you really like and they decide to shut it down, which has happened to me a few times.
Yeah, I had a few games I wanted to recommend, but I cannot because they don't exist anymore in the app stores. The Grand Theft Auto games is what I was going to mention. You can't get any of the original games anymore. Rip.
I also had a game that I Googled it because I only played it within the last year or two, and online people were like, yeah, it's too bad they deleted this game and erased it from existence. I said, yeah, that is too bad.
Yeah.
But
it's a shame.
We soldier on. Down the well.
So that's my first recommendation.
That sounds fun. I think I would play that.
It is fun. It's very simple. Like it's only a 1-button game basically, or 2 buttons, left and right. 3 buttons and shoot.
Left, right, and shoot.
Left, right, and shoot.
I separated my games list into eras of my gaming because I've gone through some thematic, I guess, eras, and I'm gonna skip to the first game that I really got into on my phone, and that was in my rhythm games era. I think I really enjoy rhythm games.
As we all do.
But I used to come to the VR program that you did and exclusively play Beat Saber for my break every week. But that is not a mobile game. But what is a mobile game is called Superstar SM Town. So it's very simple. It's your traditional rhythm game, like Guitar Hero style, Tap Tap Revenge, Tap Tap Revolution, where there's circles on the screen coming at you, and you have to tap them to the beat of a song. But this is themed around K-pop, one of my other hobbies and pastimes. So all of the songs in this game are from artists from the K-pop company SM, which is one of my favorite collections of artists. So as of last year, there were about 950 songs.
Whoa.
And now there's more because every time their artists come out with more music, they put them in the game. But I really like the way that this game is formatted. Each song has an easy, medium, or hard difficulty. And when you first play the game, it starts you on the first song on easy difficulty. And as you work your way through all of the songs, they get progressively more difficult. And then you restart at the beginning, medium difficulty. And you go through all of those.
All 900 songs?
Well, when I first started playing, there weren't 900.
Okay.
And it used to be that you had to unlock the songs one by one, but it is no longer like that. So it's more beginner-friendly now. But you won't be able to play difficulty right away. Some of the songs are punishingly hard, I would say. Some of them are impossible. Even for me, I played it obsessively for several years, and I got pretty good at it. At this point, I only play all of the songs on hard difficulty, unless I'm grinding for points. But some of them are I've never completed the song because of how difficult they are. But even if you're not a fan of K-pop or not familiar with any of the artists, it's still nice. They go through, they alternate artists. It's not like you have to play all of the EXO songs in a row, or, it alternates based on the release date of the music. So you sort of get to go through a retrospective of all of the songs and artists that have worked at this company, which is a nice way to get... Yeah, if you are interested in K-pop, it's a good way to be introduced, especially if you like a song enough that you want to play it over and over again because of the beat map. There are a few beat maps that I would play repeatedly just because it's sort of like your thumbs are dancing on the screen. That sounds weird, but if you play a rhythm game, I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's just a fun game. It does take a lot of focus for me personally, a rhythm game. Like I'm on my phone focused. I do the thing where you lock the screen so that you can't exit the game because I used to accidentally swipe away from the game and it ruins, you lose. But I think that's a good introduction to to rhythm games. And the same company, the Superstar Game Company, they used to make Superstar games like for any popular artist that would come out. There was a Superstar BTS game that was quite good, but they discontinued it, like we were talking about before, which was upsetting because I had very good stats in that game. But there currently still are, I believe, Superstar JYP, Superstar G-Friend, I think, is still available. So if you are interested in exploring other K-pop artists, or if you just like the format of the game, you also collect cards to power you up so that you can get a high score. You get points for tapping accurately, but you also get points for having leveled up cards for all of the members of whatever group you're playing a song for. And there's rare cards that you can only get during special events, so there is like a gamified aspect to the game to make it more than just tapping, but you also don't have to interact with that if you don't want to.
So how does the game make money?
The game makes money, so you can buy the cards, like the rare cards if people want to have a complete card book, because you also get some sort of...
so those are like the collectibles, so it's like a collectible aspect.
Yes. You want to collect all of the cards. Each artist has a certain amount of cards, and they have special event ones that you can only get if you buy them, pretty much. So I think that's mostly how they make money. There's also, I think, an in-game currency that you can buy that helps you with something. There's sort of like a gotcha aspect to like pulling the cards. Sometimes you'll get random cards. But yeah, I think that's mostly how they make money. And I think it's somewhat of a, like, the companies pay the developer because it's sort of like an advertisement for all of their new releases.
That's really interesting. You'd think that the game would be, it would make its money by like selling you the songs.
Nope.
But it's not. The songs are there. That's very interesting. Yeah, they must have worked out some kind of deal with it with SM.
And with all the other companies that have this game.
Yeah.
And they'll have, like, if somebody releases an album, they'll have an event in the game to promote the album that lasts for a few weeks, and then you get special cards for it.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So my recommendation is any Superstar game. There was also, a few years ago, I don't know if it still exists, just straight up Superstar, and it was like the Western version of it where they did like all of the Universal Music Group artists or something, like, you know, one of the American companies, all of their artists were in the game. But I had dropped off of rhythm games by the time that came out and wasn't as excited by the offerings of the music. Because you have to kind of like the music, or else it's boring.
Yeah.
So that's my recommendation. Superstar SM Town.
Nice. All right, so the next game I want to talk about, this might be the best of all of them.
Of both of ours or all of yours?
Well, I don't know what you're going to tell me about. Maybe you have a better game, but this is maybe my favorite mobile game. It's a game called Into the Breach. Now, this was a fully fledged game for PCs that was recently brought to mobile via the Netflix app. So if you have a Netflix subscription, they bought it and ported it to mobile. It is a strategy game that came out originally in 2018, in which you play as a trio of mechs defending a city from kaiju, the giant monsters. That's like the aesthetic of the game. And it's all pixel art, so it looks kind of like Game Boy Advance sort of artwork style. But in each level, you're presented with an 8x8 grid that represents a city and its surrounding landscape. And your principal goal is to prevent the monsters from destroying the half dozen or so buildings that are on that 8x8 grid. Like one tile of the grid might represent a building. So and you have additional bonus objectives that change each mission, and they could be something like defending a certain building for a certain number of rounds, or escorting a train that needs to go across the map for a certain duration of time, things like that. So it changes every level. The terrain is randomly generated and the objectives change. Now, the game plays out sort of like a chess puzzle. I don't know if you're familiar with those. A chess puzzle basically gives you like an end game scenario of a chess match, and it asks you to solve how to get the checkmate in one move. So it's sort of like that style puzzle. But instead, in this game, in the twist, well, there's two twists. The first twist is that both players move at the same time. And the other twist is you can move all of your pieces at once, not just one at a time. I'm sorry. There's a third twist, and this is the most important one. And this is sort of the mechanic that balances out the difficulty, because you only have 3 mechs, but the monsters keep coming. So this is the mechanic that kind of balances the scales a little bit. You can see what your opponent's next move will be. So you'll know exactly which monsters are going to...
So you're planning around what's about to happen.
Right. Hopefully. So the strategy aspect of the game is kind of using your limited resources, your 3 mechs, and their unique abilities. Each one has its own unique ability to sort of manipulate the battlefield to work in your advantage, to give you an advantage. So an example of that might be, you might have a mech that can sort of do a projectile attack to hit somebody from across the map, and you might have another one that can sort of push enemies or your own mechs around, just move them around the map, like push them tiles. So you might have a strategy where you push an enemy into the range of another one to do its like attack or something. Or you might push a monster to redirect its attack to attack its another opponent. So you can you have to think creatively, and sort of each round you're presented with a problem, and you have to figure it out each time. Like, what's my best move here? And combining all of your mech's abilities to sort of get out of pinch after pinch after pinch. It's just a really beautifully designed strategy game. Like, I know what I threw a lot at you just now, but when you're playing the game, it's very simple. The UI, like the user interface, is very good at visually showing you like all of the information that you need to know. So it's not overwhelming when you're looking at it. You know exactly what's going to happen, and you know exactly what your current available moves are. So it's just a really, really well-designed game like that. And then there is like a roguelike aspect to it as well. So each run, you try to see how many levels you can get through, basically, before you lose, basically, and your city's destroyed. So after each run, you can get some kind of currency to unlock new mechs, which have different abilities. So you can kind of mix and match to your play style, like based on the mechs that you've unlocked. So that part of it is pretty interesting too, if you're looking for like things that you need to unlock to like feel like you have some progression in the game. But overall, it's just like such a well-designed, simple strategy game that like I do see it like almost on the same level as chess. Like, it's just such a beautifully designed, almost perfectly designed game, and it works incredibly well on mobile, which I didn't think was possible coming from PC. So if you have Netflix, it's free. You should check it out. Into the Breach.
It sounds similar to, or maybe not similar, but like a good bridge between mobile games and board games. Like, for somebody who is familiar with playing a board game, a strategy board game, if they wanted to dip their toe into a mobile game and similar mechanics. Yeah, especially the chess-like aspects of it.
Yeah, and it's not, there's no pressure, like time pressure or anything like that. Like, it's all just,
you have time to think out what your move is going to be.
Exactly. It's just all you just making the best choices. It's not about like your dexterity with your thumbs or anything like that. It's just, here's a puzzle, see if you can figure it out.
I do like that.
Yeah, it's really, really fun. I highly recommend it. Into the Breach.
Into the Breach. My next game, or my next category, we'll say, is match 3 games, which I'm a real traditionalist these days when it comes to mobile games, like the ones that you see in ads for other games that look like all the same game, but just different variations on those games. I play them, and there's usually trends that come and go in those type of mobile games, and Match 3 is one of them, where you just have a big board full of a jumble of items, and then you have to match 3 of them together to clear them, and usually you have like quotas of how many of a certain type of item you're supposed to clear. And my favorite one that was not available for a while, but I looked it up earlier, I think it is available again. It's had a couple of names. It used to be called Days of Van Meowo, and then it was called Cat's Atelier, and now it's called Starry Whiskers Cat's Atelier. But it's a game in which you, the player, are the owner of a cat named Vincent Van Meowo, like Vincent Van Gogh, a French cat, and you die at the beginning of the game, and your house falls into disrepair because he's a cat. What is he really supposed to do about it? So he and his best friend Theo the mouse still live there and are mourning you. But you play rounds of a matching game where you match fish and other things in order to give him inspiration to make paintings. And then he sells the paintings in order to fix up the house, do other things, purchase stuff, and also to buy decorations to put on your grave, which...
Makes sense. Everything checks out so far.
The grave is next door to the house, so he can easily visit you.
Oh, that's convenient.
Yes.
The ghost of your owner?
The grave of
you.
Oh,
so the cat can visit.
The cat can visit.
Because you're the dead.
Yes. Like, the grave has you, the player's name on it.
Got it.
And you can go and put flowers and other things on the grave. Which it sounds morbid, but it's actually quite touching in the game, because he's devastated that you're gone, but he's so comforted that he can visit and put things on your grave. So then along the way, there is like a story that goes throughout that you follow, and you meet other cats in the game who are based off of other artists. Like there's a cat named Dolly who is very whimsical and flighty. There's also Holmes and Watson who are there to solve a mystery at one point. He has an on and off relationship with this gold digger girl named Kiki, who's also a cat. There's a lot of cats in the game, but it's a fun story and a weird game. The game is weird, but it's very cute. The art is sort of in the style of like a painting, so it's very pleasing to look at. You get to do the thing where you design different rooms of a house, which is nice. It gives you like a function to do in the game besides just match 3 and reading through the story. And it's very funny, the story, because the cats they have very distinct personalities and trials and tribulations. There's like a bird, like a dodo bird, who sells you stuff, but he is always trying to scam you. There's a lot going on.
Sounds charming.
It is charming, and it's got relaxing, like, French-style music, accordion music, if you like to listen to the music while you play. It's just a cute little game.
Yeah, sounds fun.
But another one that I will mention, just because it used to be, I would play this for hours, is a game called Line Disney Tsum Tsum. I'm a sucker for branded content games. I will download them and play them unless they're bad. And this is another matching game where you clear the screen of these little Disney plushies, they look like little lumps in the style of Disney characters. And then you can collect the characters in the game. But also in real life, they sell the little lump plushies, which are very cute. But if you like branded content, that's a good matching game. You could play it for hours. There's no story. You just sit and play.
Cool. Is that it for your matching games?
That's matching games.
All right, that's matching games. So the next game I want to mention is a game that kind of took over my life for a couple of months. It's called Fallout Shelter. Came out in 2015. So this was a surprise release that launched at the same time that the video game series Fallout released Fallout 4. So this Fallout Shelter is a mobile game that is in no way similar to the Fallout franchise, but uses the IP and the Vault Boy, which is like the mascot basically of
that little blonde kid?
Yes, as that aesthetic of the mascot to create a new world in the Fallout universe. So in Fallout Shelter, it's a simulation game in which you act as the overseer of one of the eponymous Fallout shelters, or vaults as they're called in the game. And it's set in this post-apocalyptic wasteland. So basically, and this is very similar to other mobile simulation games, you slowly recruit new vault dwellers over time, and you put them to work running your facilities, crafting new items, defending your vault from invaders, scouting out the wasteland for supplies, or breeding. So that's how you can kind of...
Breeding?
Yes. So you can not only recruit people that are seeking shelter from the wasteland, you can sort of do a little bit of matchmaking by having some people that... Now that I'm saying it out loud, it's a very creepy eugenics style
strange
thing. But it's fun in a cute mobile game.
Can I ask, are there criteria that the characters are looking for, and then that's how you match them, or it's just whatever you decide?
Well, this is where it's problematic. So you breed them based on their based on their attributes.
Mm-hmm. Eugenics.
Eugenics.
I understand.
So, like, for instance, if you have a dweller who is really strong, you might want to breed them with somebody who's really smart to try to get a super baby that's both strong and smart.
Sure, to help the vault
to breed the super race.
Of course. Wow.
Oh, I did not think of any of this as I was writing up my notes, but I'm starting to regret picking this.
And this is your favorite game of all time, you said.
It took over my life for a little while, yeah. So it is kind of fun where, like, you do get, like, multi-generational dwellers in your vault that, like, oh, Jim here's, like, the son of, you know, Clarice and Robert, who's the grandson of, like, all these dwellers that have lived in, like, for generations in your thing. So you do start to have, like, an attachment to some of the characters. And because they're all unique based on their stats, you know, you do kind of grow attached to them, like, oh, this is, like, Mindy is, like, the great scientist. Like, without Mindy, like, we wouldn't be able to produce all the medical kits, like, you know, whatever. Or, like, Randy is, like, has a high survival skill, so we always send him out into the wasteland, and he's always coming back with great stuff and, you know, keeping, like, the morale high for the vault. So, like, you do start to have, like, individual personalities that start to develop organically for these characters. And, like, you know, so basically your job is just managing all the people in your vault and making it run at peak efficiency, and you can expand on it, growing, like, you know, you improve the power plant, improve the water treatment facilities, and then you start building on more advanced things like a radio tower that can kind of keep everyone's spirits high, or things like that.
Is there an in-game currency that you have to earn in order to, like, improve things?
Yeah, they're called bottle caps, is basically the currency in the wasteland. So you can collect caps by doing, like, random objectives, like, you know, you had 3 babies this year or something, or you produced enough water to whatever, like something like that. So you can earn caps that way. You can earn caps by sending people out into the wasteland and collecting them, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, it's just a really fun, like, idle game, I think you would call it. It's just like, you know, you pull it up once a day, check in on your people, you know, like, okay, this guy's having a problem. Oh, we have an infestation here we need to take care of. All right, and now I'm done, you know, 10 minutes a day or something like that. And then over the course of months, like, your vault becomes huge and you have tons to manage, and those 10 minutes slowly move up to, like, a half an hour you're spending. But it's just a very fun game. It looks great. It runs really great on mobile, and it's just if you like the Fallout franchise, which I know just with the new show probably got a whole bunch of new audience, it's fun. I like it. And I re-downloaded it in preparation for this episode, and they've added so much content from 2015. Like, there's easily, like, 4 times as much stuff now. It was borderline overwhelming as somebody who...
But if you played continuously, it was probably to keep your interest.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I do have a question about the world building. You said you are Vault Boy?
No, you're
omniscient...
You're an omniscient overseer, where you're kind of directing everybody, yeah. Vault Boy is kind of like the mascot. He's like the Mickey Mouse of this universe, so he's just... His branding is over everything.
He's not there.
He's not there, but everybody looks like in his art style.
So he's the first of his kind. He's the first of the race.
Yes. That's the idol that we're all trying to breed to become.
This is how you get them together to try to create Vault Boy. Very interesting.
Fallout Shelter 2015. Check it out.
Sounds fun. My next era/theme is my current era/theme that's been going based on when I downloaded the first game of this kind for 3 years, since 2021, and it's merge games, which were and continue to be huge somehow for some reason. It's all about merge games, but so I'm going to go on just a little retrospective of the biggest merge games for me, that of past and present. The one that started it all, Merge Mansion. Everyone knows Merge Mansion. I played Merge Mansion obsessively for probably 1.5 to 2 years. A merge game is, you have, again, a board full of jumbled things, or you have a board of generators. And if you tap on the generators, they will spawn items. So let's say you have a generator that's a coffee machine, and you tap it, and it spawns an empty cup of coffee. So you tap, you have 2 empty cups of coffee, you merge them together, and now you have a cup of plain black coffee. And then if you made 2 of those and merge them together, and now you have an iced latte, and so on and so forth. And there's a whole chain of items that you can make from the things that you can spawn from the various generators. And then you are tasked with completing orders for various items that you have to create by tapping and merging. And that's pretty much the mechanics of any merge game. And then what you use to select your preferred one is just the framework story or some of the bonus features that they may have. So the branding. The branding. So Merge Mansion was the first one, and I think I downloaded it because I was seeing the ads that were very viral for it. There were a lot of ads that were like CGI animations of stuff that allegedly was going on in the game. It's about a grandmother named Grandma Ursula, who she seems to always have something very shady going on, and her granddaughter Maddie is trying to figure out what she's doing. Sometimes it's implied that she did crime of some sort, perhaps a murder. She, in the ads for the game, is always getting arrested and put in the back of a cop car, and then she'll put her hand up to the window to say goodbye to her granddaughter, and then there's a message written on her hand that says, like, he is alive. So that kind of viral marketing then turned into, like, Kathy Bates was in live action ads for the game, playing the grandma, and then it was the same type of ad, but Kathy Bates is in it. More recently, Pedro Pascal has been in ads playing, like, a detective who's trying to catch Grandma Ursula doing her crime. There's, like, gardening tools. Merge Mansion is mainly about gardening for some reason, and so she has, like, knives and shovels that look like she's killed somebody with them. So I played that for a very long time. That is a solid merge game if you want to dip your toe in, but it is... For me, they started doing stuff to make the game more difficult so that people would spend money on it, and that turned me off. So I dumped Merge Mansion and jumped to Sunny House, which is almost exactly the same game. It's a girl and her grandma's missing, and you're at her house, and you're merging to try to figure out where did the grandma go and rebuild the house. The issue I have with Sunny House is that it is not an English-based game originally, and the translations are not very good. So both games have story that you follow, and I ignore the story in Sunny House, don't care for it at all. But then I also dropped Sunny House. But now they've been doing interesting brand collabs, like they just had a Smurfs event in Sunny House. So you never know with a merge game. And then my current 2, which I think are the best of the bunch, are Merge Mayor and Love and Pies. Love and Pies I'm not going to talk about too much because I've mentioned it before on the podcast, but that one I like a lot because of the story. So that one is you merge, but then it's also very engaging to see what the characters are getting up to. But Merge Mayor is the most recent one I started playing, and you're the mayor of a small town, and you have to complete missions to help all of the citizens of the town do things and to build stuff, solve problems. And it has a really unique pixel art style instead of, like, all the other games have the same art style, kind of cartoony, but this is all pixels. Everything looks really ugly. So it's really all about the merging.
Yeah.
There is a story in that. I don't care about the story in that.
So what do you listen to podcasts when you
I will listen to audiobooks or podcasts, or I'll watch TV. Like if I'm watching a reality show back to back to back, like I watched several Survivor seasons playing Love and Pies. So it's very good because your brain is not engaged with it at all, but you are, like, doing a task.
Yeah.
And then,
second screen entertainment, is that what they
call it? Is that what it's
called? There's a term for it now in the biz for, like, second screen entertainment or something. And they're like, Netflix is famous for this. Like, they're creating shows that are with the intention of you not giving it your full attention. Like, you're doing something else and the show's on in the background. I think they call it second screen or something, but it's interesting.
I do that almost exclusively, which I hate, actually. I want to be able to engage better with the stuff that I'm watching, but, you know, the point that we're at as a society is that my attention span does not allow for it, so that's why I'm playing Merge Mayor while I watch 8 seasons of Survivor in a row, or whatever it may be.
Just call it multitasking. Then it doesn't sound so bad.
That sounds a lot better. That sounds like I'm doing work. And I am, because I'm the mayor of a town.
Exactly.
one other bonus positive thing that I'll say about Merge Mayor, there's like an open dialogue of sorts between the developers and the players, which most of the other games do not have. So people will eventually have lots of complaints about any Merge game, whether they think it's too difficult to complete required items or whatever, whether they think that they're charging too much for in-app purchases. It happens to every single game, and people jump ship for other games. But this one has a Discord where people can talk, and the developers are looking. They also reply on the Reddit subreddit for the game, and every time they do a game update, if you're in the Discord, they give you a link to get some free little bonus items in the game. So it behooves you to interact in that way. So it's less of a mindless, heartless game than the others a little bit, I would say.
Yeah, that always fascinates me with mobile games. It's like the intention behind the game. Like, I always feel like I'm being scammed a little bit if I'm not paying for it up front fully, which is why I sort of lean towards games that like I can buy and get the full experience.
Sure.
Like, I'd rather just pay a one-time thing. But I guess this company has the right idea where they're staying in dialogue with their fans, because it's too easy to jump ship for another app. There's thousands of them.
Especially for these Merge games, but also somewhat for like the Match 3 ones I was talking about before, once they become popular, especially their viral ads, a lot of them will get into the viral ads business based off of what Merge Mansion did. But they will come out with games that are essentially just like a reskin of they're all a reskin of Merge Mansion. It's all like something mysterious is going on in this town, and you're a young woman, and there's an elderly family member that you have to go and help. Like, they all have that same plot.
Yeah.
And then they want you to spend money, so it's all in-app purchases. They have events where they want you to pay money for in-game currency. They're all ads-based. You have to watch a ton of ads to get anywhere in the game. And this does have those elements, but in a way that I think is a little more palatable. You could tell there's something going on behind the scenes besides just, we took Merge Mansion and changed the names of the characters.
Yeah. Interesting. Any other Merge games to mention?
So many, but these are the main ones. There's one other that I'll mention called Evermerge. This one my mom introduced to me. I think I introduced her to Sunny House, and then in return she gave me Evermerge, which is sort of like a sandbox open world version of a Merge game where you're merging to like unlock all of these fairy tale and fable creatures, but you are merging on a huge scale. Like, you can merge like 5 or 6 or 8 items together at once to make multiple more items that will spawn out from your merge. And it's just a different, instead of being exactly the same like all of the other ones, it's a different take on a Merge game. So I would say to check that out. And the graphics are higher quality.
Nice.
Merge games.
All right, I have one more recommendation. This game is called, it came out this year, and I was excited that we pushed back the scheduling of this episode because this game just released, within weeks ago of us recording this. And I'm so happy because I'm completely addicted to it. The game is called Balatro. Have you heard of this?
Balatro?
Balatro. Balatro is sweeping the nation. All right? Get ready. Mm-hmm. So
this is the new Merge game?
This game is another game that started as a PC game and became wildly popular. It came out earlier this year. The premise of the game is it is basically a single-player version of poker where you're competing against a score instead of another opponent. So the objective is to play the best hand possible, and you get a score based on that hand. And you have to keep beating these thresholds to make it to the next round, and then you have an even higher score to get. So your score is based on not only the hand that you're playing, so like, you know, if you're playing a full house, it's better than a pair or something. You get more points for playing the better hand. But your score is then multiplied by some multiplier. And then that multiplier is where the twist of this game comes in. So after each round, you're taken to a shop, and you can spend your winnings on new cards to add to your deck. So you can kind of customize your deck as you're going along.
Do you mean design, or like, now I'm buying the Joker?
You're buying cards. So, and it's not only playing cards. You can buy tarot cards. You can buy cards that are called celestial cards. You can buy many, many variations of Jokers. There is over 150 Jokers in this game.
Jared Leto?
Each one of, maybe. I don't know. I haven't unlocked them all. Each Joker gives you a different ability. So sometimes they increase your multiplier. Sometimes they give you bonuses based on what kind of hand you play. Sometimes the jokers reward you for playing specific types of cards. There's 150 jokers. All of them do different things. The tarot cards are one-time effects. So they apply immediately, and they'll give you some kind of bonus, like allowing you to duplicate a card in your deck. So if you have a really good card and you play this tarot card, you can make 2 of them. Some of them increase the multiplier of using specific cards. All of these things. Celestial cards are, again, kind of like one-time bonuses that give you boosts to playing certain types of hands. So it's sort of like it is a roguelike game where, you're trying to make it as far as you can go, and then once you can't hit that threshold, you have to start over again, and you lose all the cards you had. So each time you're playing it, it's a totally fresh experience. You're never getting the same cards twice. There are hundreds of challenges that you can unlock, and different cards to unlock, and different foil cards, and all these things. It's just an incredibly, incredibly addictive. The aesthetic is kind of like 16-bit Super Nintendo style graphics. But with the exception of the cards, some cards, like special cards, will have like a foil card or something might have some kind of psychedelic kind of sheen over it or something. So there are some sort of graphics that kind of don't fit the aesthetic, which is there on purpose. So the thresholds you have to hit start off very low, like 400 points or something, and then they kind of go up from there. But the highest tiers are in scientific notation. Like, once you get...
they're so huge that they can't be written out
Right.
easily.
Like, I think the highest tier is, like, the 20th threshold you have to hit is, like, 3 times 10 to the 35th power. Like, it's an absurdly high number. So that's where, like, your strategy of, like, tailoring your play style to certain hands and getting that multiplier as high as you can possibly get it come into play. And it's really, really interesting. Like, you think when you start the game, like, there's no way I'll ever get over, like, 100,000 points or something to play with one hand. But as I've played it, I've beaten it a few times. Never to that 20th tier, but you can technically win after getting past the 10th tier, and then after that it's just bonuses. But like I've played hands where I've gotten 1,000,000 points on one hand just by
playing the
right cards. So like some of the strategies I've used is like I'll get a joker that will allow me to play a flush or a straight with only 4 cards instead of 5. So I'll like combine that strategy with like buying only celestial cards when I'm in the shop that give me bonuses to flushes. So when I'm starting to combine those two strategies, every time I play a flush, I'm getting like 20,000, 30,000 points. So that's how you can you have to like really pigeonhole your play style if you want to go far. So it's just a really, really interesting game. It's very, very addictive. I wouldn't say in like a gambly sort of way because you're not gambling at all. You're just trying to get...
You're just combining the cards.
Yeah, it's just like an interesting strategy sort of game of using the random cards that are given to you to kind of adopt the best strategy possible and try to make it really far. So, yeah, Balatro, it's $10.
Wow, that's steep.
It's steep for a mobile game, but I think it's absolutely worth it. I mean, it is a full game. It's not just a mini game. There are, hundreds of cards to unlock, tons of challenges to go for. You can unlock different decks to start with that give you different starting bonuses. And then there's difficulty levels and all sorts of bonuses and things you can unlock. So there's a lot of content there if it's something you like. And it was a game I was staying away from because all the Reddit and everything, all the internet was saying, like, this game's so addictive, like, you stay away.
And you fell for it.
And then I fell for it. And it's fantastic.
I have 2 clarifying questions about it. If you are not familiar with the basics of poker in terms of what the hands are, does it tell you?
It does. Yeah, the interface is, very, very clean and lays it all out for you. You're not like doing any sort of betting of chips or anything or trying to like bluff anyone, so you don't have to worry about like you're not playing against real people. Like you're literally just trying to get a high score.
But I mean in terms of like you explained what a flush was, and I did not know what a flush was until you said it. But will the game tell you, like, here's a combination of cards you could do? Or do you have to figure that out on
I guess you do have to know the basics. Like, well, there is like a little chart that will tell you what hands will give you what multiplier. Mm-hmm. So I guess you have to know what a flush is and what a straight is. But that's, I guess, a flush, a straight, and a full house are really the only things you need to know.
And you can look that up. Then my other question is, what is it called?
Balatro.
Why?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I guess I think there is like a sort of like sub story from what I'm gathering. Like maybe the cards are haunted or something. I don't know. There's some kind of thing going on with the jokers and the cards that I haven't gotten far enough into the lore. But it's really cool. Like some of the jokers are very creative. Each card has a specific purpose, and then figuring out like where you can base your strategy around that card is interesting. Yeah, it's just really, really fun. Balatro, check it out.
Sounds interesting. I do have one more game. I'll share one more game. And this one, I actually have not played much. This is the only game out of my list that does cost money, and I invested in it because I had heard really good things about it. It's called Burly Men at Sea, and it is sort of a mix between a visual novel and a point-and-click adventure. So you are sort of exploring this world in the game, but it's not, you don't have to really solve difficult puzzles, from what I understand. I've only played it very lightly, but I'm enjoying it so far. But it is like a folktale about some fishermen who are going on an adventure, which sounds very vague, but you adventure through the story, and the story branches out to create itself as you play, and there's multiple different endings. So I can't really explain more than that, but it has a very nice, simple art style, simple shapes, but like sort of a little cartoony, but no faces on any of the characters, but you could tell from their outline what they are, and you were just going on a ship and going on an adventure with them. There's very relaxing music and sound design, which is really appealing, and it is a mobile game for phones, but it's also on the PS4 and the Vita and the PC/Mac, so you can play it on other platforms if you want. And my understanding is each playthrough is only about 30 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes, depending on where the story goes when you play, but it's different every time, so it has a lot of replayability.
Cool.
Burly Men at Sea.
Burly Men at Sea.
I think it costs $4.99, so it was not a terrible investment.
Yeah. Or half a Balatro.
Half a Balatro. Might as well buy two.
All right. Is that it for your recommendations?
I think so.
Okay.
You know what? Wait. I'll throw in one more.
I kind of had a joke one as well, sort of.
Mine's not a joke. Mine's deadly serious, but I will, because I didn't have much to say about Burly Men at Sea. Another one that was a recommendation to me, called Two Dots. Have you ever played Two Dots?
I've not played it, but I've certainly heard of it.
It's in a good way.
I don't really know much about it. I just know that it's very popular.
It's a nice, simple, sort of turn your brain off kind of game where you have dots of various colors. The only thing that you really have in the game is colorful dots, and you have to connect them in different ways in order to complete goals. Sometimes you're like filling a container with water and you connect the dots and the water follows the dots, or sometimes you need to connect dots of a certain amount of each color. It's really an uncomplicated game where you just are connecting the dots. Two dots. Sometimes there are other like events and stuff that go on in the game, but you can ignore them and just simply connect the dots. This company had another game called Dots & Co., which was similar and was a lot of fun and relaxing, but I just found out today that it is gone. Deleted from existence.
Shame.
But Two Dots. If you are not a gamer type of game and nothing else that either of us talked about appealed to you, I think this is still a good, like, wind down. The person who recommended it to me, shout out to Nicole from System, but she told me that she would play it to, like, wind down after the day.
Nice. Okay, so I think that's all we have for our mobile.
Wait, what's your half game?
Okay, so
what's your don't jump ship. Tell us the game.
So let me take you back to the year 2004, before smartphones. Yeah, this is 3 years before the iPhone was introduced. Cell phones were very primitive. They were made of cheap plastic. The screens were minuscule, and the resolution was that of a graphing calculator. The game is called Tetris.
Oh, no. Wow, what a callback. What a callback to your first recommendation that was basically Tetris.
Basically. So I had a Samsung SPH A620, back when cell phones just rolled off the tongue. This was a flip phone. It was silver. It was a big chunky boy. It had big buttons that clicked. Oh, I miss it so much.
That haptic return.
Yes. And it is the only mobile phone you can comfortably play a game like Tetris because there are physical buttons. I would never play Tetris on a touchscreen. It doesn't make sense. I was so obsessed with Tetris, I actually experienced the Tetris effect, which is where you dream that you are playing Tetris. I played it obsessively. I had a friend, Robert, in high school, shout out Robert, who also had the same phone as me, who also played Tetris and who would compete on the high score, and who could get the high score. It's just, in my opinion, it is the perfect way to play Tetris. It was so comfortable.
On this phone,
this specific phone. I don't know if my hands were the right size for the phone, but it just felt so comfortable. I could do it like blindfolded. It just felt perfect. It was the perfect version of Tetris. Everything. It was just perfect.
It just seems crazy the amount of times Tetris has come up today organically for you to then have this be your final bit of the episode.
Tetris is the best game ever made.
That's a hot take, I feel like.
I don't think so. It's the perfect game.
I thought Fallout Eugenics was the perfect game.
That's another good game. I forgot to mention, speaking of Fallout Eugenics, there was a funny, there's another funny aspect to it, and funny I'm using in air quotes. Eventually you'll reach capacity at your vault.
Oh no.
And you'll have to start kicking people out to make room for people who have better genes.
So people have to go fend for themselves out in the wasteland.
Exactly. So it's you'll get to a point where you say oh, sorry, Bill, but Pat has a better endurance stat, so you need to go pack up your things and go, and you send them out into the wilderness to be attacked by radiated dogs or something.
You're right, Tetris does sound better than this.
Yeah. So if you have a phone from 2003 or 2004 and for some reason you're still able to download apps from the Samsung store,
get back into
Tetris.
Wow.
That's it.
We did it.
That's all I got. We did mobile games.
This is all of them.
And I'll post links to all of those in the show notes for games that are still available. Rip the games that are not. And
will be missed.
Tori, thank you for coming and finally doing a video game podcast with us.
You'll never hear me talk about a game again. Probably. We'll see you next time between the shelves.